So welcome to Dunk Bait, where we talk mostly basketball. Today we were talking to Matt Barnes, virtue signaling versus action in the BLM movement. Mike Miller torching some young kids, and Trae Young jumping out for an impromptu game during a pandemic.
Heavy in these streets, doing all types of charitable work and community service. My former teammate at UCLA, Matt Barnes, what's going on, man?
Joe, what's up, bro? Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, appreciate you for coming on. So, first and foremost, just want to get into, obviously, with everything going on and the climate going on in the world. You were actually out in Sacramento this weekend protesting and marching against police brutality and for George Floyd. Where do we go and how do we fix this now so we don't have to keep seeing all these protests? We'd actually avoid seeing these protests and all the situations going on.
We need to have a plan now. You know, what is our plan? What's moving forward? I think first and foremost, we need to get out and vote. And when I say vote, it's not just to get Trump out of office. It's your local level, your state level, your city level. People don't know that's where most bills are created and passed. I read an interesting article yesterday that said 1% of cops are charged for killings and less than 1% are actually convicted. Kind of speaks to the point why they just kind of freely do what they want because there's really no consequences. But I truly feel energy and the momentum shifting, and hopefully this is, the start of something new.
You've experienced situations like this, racially fueled issues like this all throughout your life, I think, including high school. I remember you telling us stories about that back in the day. So how did those experiences really make you want to become a voice and kind of use your platform to speak out for situations like this?
A lot of people don't have voices, although everyone has a platform on social media. When athletes speak, it's heard, so I've always prided myself on being able to speak for the people on behalf of the people. I'm literally, once a week, twice a week on phone calls with policymakers and lawmakers in Sacramento. We're working on a handful of new bills that we hope to present to the Senate floor to try to get some new laws passed.
This past week, the NBA announced that they'd be coming back with a 22-team format. Do you think this is the right move with obviously the Rona and the pandemic still going on? If you were a player, would you be comfortable playing in that type of situation?
The athlete in me says yes. I would want to get back out there and play and especially finish the season because if you recall, they kind of stopped the season right when the season really gets started. Some guys want to, sit back and kind of figure out what our nation's next move is. I wouldn't be surprised if some teams or some key players did want to play on behalf and in honor of George Floyd.
And guys have literally told you like, yo, man, we don't really feel comfortable playing until this situation gets resolved and figured out. Is that something that's happened?
It is. Actually, Snoop hit me the other day, too, talking about it because I had talked to a few guys, not to mention no names, and he said he had talked to a couple guys from the Lakers and the Clippers. There's some whispers about, some teams not being comfortable. Some guys want to play, some guys don't want to play. So it'll be an interesting, next couple weeks or so, because they're heading into training camp, I think, at the beginning of next month. To see what this turns out to be.
Thank you for taking the time to join us on Dunk Bay, man, and keep doing everything you're doing, man. Really, really happy to see just everything you're doing out there in the community and just who you become as a man and a person, bro. So appreciate you.
No doubt, Joe. Thanks for having me, bro.
So we've seen a lot of people taking a stand with what's been going on in the last 2 weeks, and we're wondering if there's going to be any action. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, look, I think, we're reaching now 2 straight weeks of protests, and I think it's a beautiful thing to see people out on these streets and uniting. I'm seeing people of all races, all ages, everything. But I think it comes to a point now, obviously companies have done a lot and kind of use their voice and their brands to raise awareness. But now it's a more put your money where your mouth is type thing. It's been a lot of talk. Now it's time for some action. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to see, employment rates increasing, opportunities increasing, giving more power to these black voices that are super talented and deserving of opportunity. So I need to see some movement put in place. Where do we go from here? And how do we actually create progress where this stuff has to stop happening?
It's been a fascinating week to watch companies issue sort of the same statements that they have each time these kind of things come up in our country and finally being held accountable. No, that's not good enough. We want donations. We want action within your company. We want to see your staffs look different. So that's been really powerful. It's been great seeing the people kind of hold the feet to the fire of some of these big companies that are just putting these messages out, and it's like, but you're lining your pockets from this community, and that's all you're gonna do is to give it a statement? Like, come on. And so that's been great, seeing people hold them to the fire and hold them more accountable than they have in the past.
Seeing people step out in solidarity, I mean, it does feel good, but yeah, we definitely need to see action. I mean, Kevin Love, he jumped out with solidarity with the black square or whatever, but then he also talked about the actions he's gonna make, like actionable things he's gonna do in order to change things, solutions, you know what I'm saying, within his organization. And I think that's what's important.
We work in social, we work in entertainment. I look at a lot of social media companies and platforms out there that have these huge voices, and I don't see a lot of black voices at these companies, just to be candid and honest, but I see them profiting a lot off of the backs of black content. You know, they're in the language, the lingo, and all these things like that. I've seen like people out here, I've seen numerous people asking for lists of like black creators and talent and people like that. It's like, these are the same lists that you guys have been had. These are the same voices that you've been jacking for years and years and years. Then it's now time, the opportunity to give people that actually have that voice, that are actually getting got every day on social for their lingo, for their swag, for their content, you know what I'm saying? And give those people an opportunity to shine, because they will if given so.
Changes need to be made, you know what I'm saying, when the people you're talking to are not represented by the people that are talking to them, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, so Mike Miller, former NBA champion and ex-assistant at Memphis, video came out of him cooking these players. And what I love about this is that type of game that Mike Miller has will always be effective. You know what I'm saying? If you had a Jimmy, your footwork might lead, the handle goes, the legs go, but the Jimmy stays. You feel me? You know what I mean? And he's just using basic old man moves to cook these young people who are way more athletic than he is. You feel me? And I love seeing it, bro.
Like, I don't use this lightly, but when I think about Mike Miller can come to the cookout. Mike Miller can hear Jimmy. You know, Mike Miller has always been, you know, heavily embraced by the black community as a real one. From the time when he was at Florida putting in work, always had swag. Dudes will give you buckets. Like, this is real life. Like, especially ex-hoopers that still have a little bit left in the tank, and you know, whose hips haven't failed them, whose legs aren't janky. Like, when they get those opportunities, now he can't do that every day of the week, but he will let these youngsters know what it really is.
Mike Miller's the guy that shows up at your like rec league gym. Everyone kind of knows what he can do. He's got maybe like a little bit of a Band-Aid on the forehead. He's got the like real musty elbow pad, but he's just out there hitting shot. Like you said, that game's never going away.
He'll never dribble more than 3 times. You know that, but he's very efficient and effective. And I mean, I love that game, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty too. That Jimmy is beautiful. You see the form on that thing? Woo! Perfect.
Trae Young showed up in Oklahoma City. I think everyone was a little bit surprised. One, that there were that many people in the gym, no masks, and that there was full basketball going on somewhere in the world. I'm sure part of it was a little bit of horror, part of it was a little bit of like shock and jealousy that you couldn't be in the gym to watch that. I don't know, what did you guys think when you saw this going around?
I mean, nobody can question how much he loves the game. During a pandemic, my man is still giving buckets, you know what I'm saying? And he looked like he's still been working on his game. I mean, that Jimmy was sweet, bro.
Still with the fluffy dude, still not using any product. I'm still rocking with Trae. But this is the thing, like, I rock with, you know, people are like, oh, well, he's not quarantined, he's not social distancing, but them dudes can't guard Trae. So there was definitely some social distancing going on. A lot of dudes claim that they ain't been doing nothing, but let's keep it real. Dudes been out there working out on the low. I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron had these dudes out in the bunker somewhere just getting it in for the past couple weeks.
There was no rust on this game, bro. No rust. When he got that cross off, he got his 6 feet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, that's another episode of Dunk Bay. I'm LeJetho Jenkins.
King Josiah 54.
I'm Zach Schwartz. Have a good week, everybody.